Hey, welcome back to the farm, everyone. It is September 20th today already, and as you can see behind me, it's a beautiful day today. So our garden season is coming really close to being at its end, and we're gonna start pulling the last of the produce out of the garden and plants and get it ready for winter. But I don't know, we're kind of hanging on to the last few sunny days like this and just hoping a few more things will ripen all on their own. I thought that while the garden is more or less still intact, this might be a fun time to kind of take you through and show you where it's at and talk about what's left to be harvested. And then the next video I do will probably be pulling all the plants out. Maybe we're going to put the chickens in here, let them peck around and eat some of the greenery, and get the beds ready for the winter time. So anyway, let's go for a little walk, and I'll show you where the garden is at this time of the year, the very end of the season, September 20th. Let's go. Okay, I feel like I'm kind of getting a bit of a format for doing garden tours here. So, you know, as I'd mentioned in one of the previous videos, the garden's kind of divided into 4 quadrants. So we will start at the top in the, what we might call the northwest quadrant, and just see where everything's at. The first guys here are Jerusalem artichokes, and they're doing all right now, but they're a lot shorter than they are normally. And again, like everything, that's due to the super hot, super dry summer. Jerusalem artichokes are also called sunchokes, and they are part of the sunflower family. So they're actually, I mean, they are pretty tall, but they do kind of tip their heads and face the sun just like a sunflower does. Anyway, right behind them is zucchinis. And holy moly, zucchini was really slow to get going, but now we have, like a lot of zucchini people, we have monsters to deal with. Thankfully, I have actually discovered a couple good recipes, and so we've been shredding them up and making fritters with them, and just kind of opening them up and grilling them on cast iron with butter, because hey, butter does make everything taste better. So there's a few left, and I'm gonna hopefully grate some of them up and put them in the freezer. And so then the next bed over, we started real late in the season, just kind of on a whim. Hey, let's throw in some short germinating green type things. So I don't think I can tell you exactly what everything is in here, but I know there's carrots and pak choy and kale, and there's some kale, spinach. This was the onion bed, and the onions did terrible this year, but now we've got little onions that didn't really mature very well that are growing. So hey, now we got green onions. That's good. We put in some beets. I think mostly we're just going to get beet tops off of them, but that's all right too. Good addition to the salad. And we had radishes, which is another thing we've not normally been able to grow, but this year we got radishes, so some surprises, some fun, some pretty marigolds. This bed over here was the potato bed, and it did not really produce any potatoes this year because of the heat, but I've gone and flattened it out, turned it over, fluffed it up, and they're just about ready to put garlic in. So that actually might be a today or tomorrow job. A little bit of nasturtiums still in there looking pretty. We got one really good sized tobacco at the end here, and once again, no, we don't smoke the tobacco, but we do use it to attract pests to it and away from other plants. So we are letting the seed head fully mature, and then we will harvest the seeds off of it so we can plant more next year. Now the hops are doing really well, and they are pretty much ripe and ready to be harvested. I actually saw a few of them falling all on their own, so we'll harvest up some of the hops and put those in the freezer. And then right behind is the tomato hoop house. Tomatoes and a few peppers, and it has made a big difference to the productivity of the tomatoes. They're still not really where we would like them to be. I mean, I was hoping that the whole thing would be full of ripe red tomatoes, you know, 2 weeks ago, but it is it's keeping things going, basically, and that's the best we can ask for. I've been pulling off some tomatoes that have just started to sort of blush with color, and then bringing them into the cabin and letting them ripen that way. But let's go inside and I'll show you the tomato house. All right, here we are. It smells so wonderful in here. The plant on the end here is tomatillos. They were kind of hit and miss this year, but they are tasty, and so I think I would do them again. Probably prune them a little bit better because they're kind of a wild child. And we've got some little bumblebees. That's what those guys are called. Bumblebees, kind of like a cherry tomato. And then we've got some beefsteaky type varieties, and we had a bunch of yellow taxis. I think they're all done. They're the earliest and the most delicious. We have some called vintage wine, and a lot of these were volunteers from last year, so kind of popped up in the compost pile, and they've turned out to be pretty lovely. There's a few of them that are ripening. I kind of took everything off the other day, so this is what's left. Basil did all right this year. I've got a fair amount of basil dried. There's some more tomatillos. There's lots of bumblebees in here. It is toasty warm, and kind of, I don't think you can see it. Let's try this way. Down there without making you nauseous. It's a bunch of peppers, hot, spicy peppers. So we'll come around the other side and I'll show you more of those. But anyway, that's the tomato hoop house. I'm going to leave it now because it's getting rather hot in here. So we planted peppers in 3 separate beds this year. We did some of them up there in the tomato house, right along the front edge, and then we built this bed of hot peppers, and then there's one more down below I'll show you. But they're doing really well. They have been ripening like crazy. We haven't eaten a ton of them because they're primarily hot, spicy ones. There's cayenne peppers, and there's finial blue, and there's darball, and there is some bells in there. But anyway, those guys there, that's the darballs, they seem to take a long time to ripen. They take a long time to come on, but I've been able to just actually cut the plant itself, bring it in the house and hang it upside down, and it will continue to ripen. So may have to do that with a bunch of them this year too. But anyway, they're pretty and they seem happy. And there's some cayennes hiding back there. Looking pretty big and nice. So that's pepper bed number 2. As part of the whole good, bad, and ugly of the garden, the beautiful and the ugly. I am just fed up with weeds, and so this year I thought I was going to try putting down cardboard and then mulch. And in most areas I got as far as the cardboard, and I haven't gotten the mulch. So I don't think it's helping at this point when it's just plain old cardboard. But anyway, up in that bed there, the first one we looked at, I did put some mulch down. And let's see, up in between the rows there you can see. And so it has helped. It's not eliminated them entirely. I don't think my cardboard was thick enough and there was too many gaps, but at least it's something, because holy cow, if you look over here, that's what the weeds do. They just take over. So anyway, cardboard's down. Next step is to try and get more mulched on top and see if that helps for next year. So down in the bottom, we've got what would be the southeast corner of the garden. That was my sweet potato bed, which, as you can see, did not thrive. I do have 2 sweet potato plants, and that actually do have little teeny tiny sweet potatoes down in there. So anyway, I think I will try that again next year, see if we can do better. And then this is the third sort of tomato hoop house, and see if I can crouch down and show you. We have some bell peppers and cayenne peppers and Scotch bonnet peppers, and they're all looking pretty happy, doing pretty good. And one much shorter tobacco. But anyway, it does have lots of seed pods on the end, so we'll harvest those and save them for next year. So then down in the southwest corner, this is probably the best area of the garden this year. I will show you where we're at the very end of the season here. The squashes are all, the plants are for the most part still looking fine, like they're still green and leafy. They will die back quite soon, I believe. But anyway, there's a marigold, I think, on either end. And then there's some just regular green zucchini. And then this plant that did nothing all year. And then we've got some white pumpkin. They're called moon pumpkins. And we've got, I think we got 4 of those this year. 2, and one over there, and then another one. I will find the name of these orange guys and just overlay it on the video here, because I can't remember what they're called, but they're kind of like in the buttercup family, and we managed to get a few of those, not a ton, but I think there's 4 or 5 of them. We got a few very, very, very small butternut that are still very green. Now the thing with the butternut though is that if you do have to take them off because you're getting frost, you can bring them in the house and put them in the window and just let them kind of continue to ripen and cure. There's my other big happy moon pumpkin. And then I think in behind there's another little butternut. I wish they were bigger, but we've got, corn did well this year, but it's come to an end, and it's now just serving as a stand for the pole beans to climb up. So we are getting some beans, not a lot, but we are getting some. So that's the squash bed, the Three Sisters bed we actually call it, because it's the combination of squash on the bottom and corn to provide height and support the beans. And the squash cover the soil and kind of retain moisture. So that's that bed. So right below the squash and the corn is the cucumbers. And the cucumbers did really well for us this year. So in this short row here, I think that we've gotten close to 30 pounds, or roughly 30 pounds of cucumbers. They're all pickling varieties, and there is still a few hanging on. So I was tempted to pull everything off, but now that we've gotten another sunny day, I'm kind of thinking I might give them a little bit of food and just see how many more cucumbers I can get from this patch. Because the plants themselves are turning a bit yellow, more towards that end. They're looking a bit more yellow than, well, I guess hit and miss. But anyway, as long as things are producing, I find it really hard to pull it off and call it quits. So the grapes are right at the bottom here. Try not to make you too dizzy. So we have a long row of grapes, and again, I'll have to have a look at how many pounds we got, but this is the first year we've ever gotten a harvest of grapes off of these guys. So just the fact that we had, you know, a dozen clusters was very exciting. So we pulled them off and I juiced them, and I want to make jam, but like a lot of canning things, the no or low sugar pectin seems to be very hard to come by these days. So I might have to freeze it until I can get some form of pectin to make jelly out of them. I just don't want to lose the bounty of my little row of grapes. So I don't know, you end up with, you know, 3 days of rain and cool nighttime temperatures, and you're kind of discouraged and you're fed up and you're ready for garden season to be completely over with. And then all of a sudden you end up with a day like this and you think, maybe we could hang on and just keep things going a little bit longer. So anyway, we'll take it day by day at this point, try to keep an eye on the forecast and take things out when we need to. But so far, we're enjoying the fall. I'm enjoying the fall way more than I enjoyed the summer. So that's the garden at this stage of the game. I'll take you down and show you the orchard a little bit, because that's where the chickens are hanging out right now. They're my chief weeders, so keeping the ground cover under control. So that right there is the chicken coop and the chicken run. And we've been trying to get the chickens out every day. And so we either take them and put them in the little chicken tractor, because then we can wheel it around the property and put them kind of wherever we want them to be. Or more recently, I have added chicken wire around the outside edge of the orchard. So it's got electric fencing around it, and then it's got chicken wire, or deer netting actually, around the inside. And that keeps them, let's turn so you can see here. They think I'm bringing them something. Anyway, the deer netting is what keeps them inside of this space, and I'll show you what we've had to do and what they've been doing. So whenever I come close to the orchard, they think I'm bringing them food, so they come running up towards me. Anyway, my little pack of terrorists have been hanging out quite a bit in the orchard this summer, and they've done a great job up through the center here of controlling the weeds and kind of keeping it mowed down. But like, as you can see, this little girl, they go to the base of the fruit trees and then they literally try to dig the roots bare. And so I'd put that orange snow fencing around, but they kick it out of the way and they go after it anyway. I don't know. Did you do that too? Huh? Are you up to no good? Yeah, I think you are. So yeah, each of the fruit trees, I did go through and put the netting down. And some of them they've kind of left it alone. And some of them they've just pulled it up and I have to keep coming and putting it back down again. But there are so many weeds, and hawkweed is one that we really struggle with. And it's a noxious weed in this area. So I am grateful that they've been getting rid of a lot. Oh, for heaven's sakes. I'm going to have to get them out of there. Leave the poor almond tree alone. And if you haven't checked out my silly chicken ballet video, I'll put the link of it in the corner here. It was just a last minute idea and a fun little clip of the ballet chickens and their dramatic production. So these guys have been awesome birds this year. They are super friendly, very personable. They've been laying eggs like crazy. Really happy with them. But this has been the craziest year for predators. So, you know, we're normally prepared that there's going to be, you know, eagles and hawks and things, but we have had a skunk several times try to get into the coop, unsuccessfully, thankfully. We had a family of raccoons one night, and again, thankfully, the dog barked and let us know that something was going on, so we were able to deter them. And then really early one morning, we had 2 coyotes hanging around the coop. So it feels like it's a constant job trying to keep them alive and keep all of this wildlife at bay. We've got really big snakes this year too. I mean, they're garter snakes. They're nothing major, but they seem bigger than normal. So I don't think that they're big enough to do anything to the chicken. I know they could eat the eggs, but they haven't so far. So anyway, that's been our summer with the chickens. It's been just kind of crazy, but they are fun. Anyway, that is the end of September garden video tour, and I hope you enjoyed just kind of catching up on what's been going on. It was good for me to go down and kind of go through each of the areas and see where it's at, and remind myself that it's been a good year overall. And the next video I do will probably be on pulling everything out and putting cover crops in, getting the garden ready for winter. I'm probably not going to do a garden growing or planting garlic video because there's a million garlic videos out there that you could watch, and I don't do anything special, so that's the next job I'm going to do, but probably not going to video. And then after that, I'm actually going to do a little bit of a tour of our sauna and our brand new outdoor shower, because those were the other really big projects for this year. So in a week or so, we're supposed to be getting siding. And once I get some siding on it, because it's way prettier, or it will be way prettier once it's got siding, it's just not easy to take pictures or film when there's nothing but Tyvek and tar paper everywhere. But anyway, that'll be my next video. So if there's anything in particular you'd like to know about the sauna or about the outdoor shower, maybe throw a comment down below and I'll see if I can answer that ahead of time. If not, thanks for watching this video and hanging out with me today and the chickens. And I hope you have a good one. I hope your garden season is still going, at least a little bit. And see you on the next one. Bye-bye.